Dear students, in this paper we have been studying about digital forensics, and in this module we will be studying about program manipulation. After studying this module, you shall be able to know about program manipulation, different types of softwares, tools used for program manipulation, and countermeasures for program manipulation. First, the introduction. Computer program. We all know the term computer basically is an electronic machine with high speed and 100% accuracy, but it is not as intelligent as human. It doesn't have its own decision-making power or learning ability. To get work finished by computer, there are some logical or computational instructions in computer memory. This set of instructions is known as a program. There are special people known as software developers or programmers who use available programming language to write program. After loading these programs in computer, we can execute them. Basically, these are instructions for CPU, that is Central Processing Unit, which governs the computer. A program is developed for specific tasks, means use ability of computer to perform a specific set of sequential actions. We can write a program to just display hello, or we can write a program to develop an operating system. Size of the program is from few kilobytes to few gigabytes. It depends on how many functionalities we are implementing in a program. Computer can understand only binary language. So, if we want to issue instructions to computer, then they should be in binary language only. And binary language is a sequence of ones and zeros. But for human, it is very difficult to understand or write the program or instructions in binary. So there are options which include use of high-level programming language. These languages are very close to English, so user can easily read or write the program. And there is another program or software which are known as compiler or interpreter, which converts the programs from higher level language to machine level language or binary language. Now, types of software. First is application software. It is a software which is designed for a specific task completion. Some of the types of application software are: first, application suite. It is correlated software for a related task. For example, we can take Office suite or CorelDRAW suite. Second, enterprises application. It includes a set of software to manage the whole business activity. Third, enterprises infrastructure software. Software needs a platform or a software as a foundation. For example, if you want to implement business management software, then you must implement database, mail server, so they come under this category. Fourth, media development software. It can generate or edit media. Here media covers images, videos and audios. Product engineering software. These are the software for production and design purpose, for example, in CAD or integrated development environment. Next is the entertainment software. It includes games, movies or movie player software. Next is utility program. These are the application programs designed to help system administrator or the developer to accomplish their work. We can include security software, example antivirus, firewall, backup software, recovery software and many more. These are the supportive software for our systems. Operating systems. This is software which bridges hardware with the user. It provides an interface to the user so user can use available hardware resources. Examples of program: sample of C++ program to add two numbers, sample of Java program to add two numbers, then bytecode of a previous Java program. This is the data segment, and then the code segment, and this is the end of the program. Now we'll start with program manipulation. It's a process to analyze the program and change its content. Every program is designed to complete a specific task. If we manipulate the program, means that we are changing the working of that program. This can be done with both intentions, that is, either to analyze a program or change its content. This process will not change the whole program. It can modify the way the program is behaving, or it can add or remove some functionality. We can manipulate the program to change the functionality or the working of that program. Consider we have a program, but it is taking too much time to generate the output and output is not correct, then we can disassemble the program. That is, we can read and understand it and then we can make the required changes. In other words, we can simply correct it and optimize it. That was about program manipulation for good reasons. What if intentions are bad? In this case, the developer can make software to misbehave, compromise its accuracy, bypass some steps like authentication, or add few more hidden functionality and can perform some unlisted functions. Program can be manipulated. Make a Trojan. Trojan is a program which contains another malicious programs which can monitor users' activities, data and send to attacker. In another term, it is known as infection. Many of the viruses, after loading, they start infecting another files in computer. This might be resulted into data corruption or turning some files as a virus. Now we'll deal with some case studies. First, manipulating Java program, original source code. In this case, we assume that we have a Java source code file. Java file is like plain text file. We can open it by using a simple utility known as Notepad in Windows. Also, there are some advanced softwares like Eclipse or NetBeans. On Linux, you can open the same file with VI editor or any other text editor. After opening file, you can go through the file and understand the logic behind the program. Then you can make some changes and save the modified program. By using javec command, .class file can be built and now that .class file can be distributed. Second, manipulation of Java program, .class file. When we have .java file, it is very close to human readable format. After compilation, it produces .class file which is known as bytecode, which is standard input for Java Virtual Machine, JVM. Reading and understanding .class file is too complicated. So the solution is to first decompile or deassemble the .class file. There are software available to decompile .class files. We take DJ Java Decompiler as an example. It is one of the good software and it is with graphic user interface, that is GUI. Go to File menu and choose Open and select your .class file. The software will transform the bytecode into Java code. Now the code is readable and we can edit the code. Now we can perform the procedure which is mentioned in point 1. This example is little bit different. In previous example, you get the source code which is directly written by the developer. But here we have bytecode which is made after compilation. If we retrieve the Java code from .class files, then it's equivalent to the original code. It may be exactly matching with the original code, but it will perform the same task because during compilation components are ignored and instead variable. Symbol table is used, so after retrieving the Java program, we may not have comments or original variable names. This is the example, decompile .class file referred under the last example. This is the program. Next is manipulating C++ program. This follows the same procedure as that of manipulating Java program. If you get the original C++ file, then you can open it in C++ compiler. There are many C++ compilers like DEV, CPP or Turbo C++, etc. After opening the file in compiler, we can read each and every line from that file. We can either read it or modify it. Next is manipulating exe files. Exe files are executable files. Compiler builds exe files after compilation of program. Exe files are in machine language, so they are very difficult to read and understand. There is an option known as disassembler. It is a program which reads the executable file and shows it as assembly program. Assembly program is much better than binary program for understanding purpose. Assembly code is a sequence of individual operations, so we can guess the reason and meaning behind the command and the instructions. Now we'll study the tools used for manipulation. There are many paid software in market like some operating systems, media editing tools. People have to pay for their license, but when you download the software, even if it is not licensed, then also you have the entire code on your machine in machine level language. So simply you can open it in deassembler and perform the mentioned operation. For every software, the authorization logic will be different. Some software asks for serial key and compares it with the existing database. If it matches, then you will be treated as authentic user and you can use all features of that software. In case of cracking software like this, we can identify the step which compares the entered key with the database and takes the decision and can simply bypass that step, or can find out the number of keys which are stored in database and can enter only that key. Basically, any program can be cracked. When you have software means it has its code. After getting their logic, we can do changes and crack the software. This is the reason why web applications are becoming famous nowadays, because these are hosted in controlled and secured environment. Anyone can access it, but the response will be displayed for every user. The core logic will be kept away from the user. The logical example of program manipulation for software cracking: before, start, after, start. Before there will be start, display message, ask for key, compare key. If not valid, then display error and exit. Start working and stop. In case of after, start, display message, ask for key, jump to F. If not valid, then display error and exit. Start working and stop. The logical example of program manipulation: before, start, display message, read A and B, C is equal to A plus B, display the sum is C, and then stop. In case after manipulation, start, display message, read A and B, C is equal to A minus B, display the sum is C, and then stop. Now we'll discuss about some of the tools that are used for program manipulation. First is interactive disassembler. It's a binary file analyzer made by HEX Rays. It is built in C++ language, which has super access to the hardware. The software is available for Windows, Mac, and Linux also. It provides graphical representation of your code, so it is very easy to identify subroutines, calls, etc. Second is Oli DBG. It is also similar to the previous one. It can disassemble multi-threading application. It supports Unicode and it provides auto-identification of Unicode or ASCII. Also, it provides good support for search operation for whole memory space. Next is DJ Java decompiler. It is specially designed to disassemble the .class file, which is output of Java program. It has ability to reconstruct equivalent Java program for the given .class file or bytecode. We can deassemble .class file and then we can change Java file and save it. After recompilation, we will get updated .class file. Now we shall discuss about the countermeasures for program manipulation. In case of deployable software, many trusted companies are there who make and publish their softwares. They make their software available on their websites. We can download it and circulate it. In case we get the software from other than the original source, then how can we identify whether it is manipulated or not? The simplest solution is to get it scanned by antivirus. If the program is manipulated and something harmful has been injected in it, then the antivirus will warn us, provided the signature of injected malware is known to the scanning antivirus. Another solution for the same problem is hash value or MD5 value. There are algorithms that accept data or file as input and reduce the fixed length block of data, and the output is again irreversible. Means if we get the MD5 or hash value of any file, then also the source file can't be reconstructed or built. And the advantage of these values is even if there is a small change in content of the data or program, then also we get a different hash or MD5 value. And again, there are many applications on internet available free of cost which calculates the said values. So finally, the solution is to get a program that calculates its hash value or MD5 value and cross-check it with some authentic source. If this strategy is followed, then it is easy to detect any manipulation in any kind of file. But for this, the source of the values should be authentic, and the same strategy is applicable for files, images, videos, and any kind of digital material. In the last solution, we understood how to identify whether it is manipulated or not. Now, here we will discuss how to identify location of the manipulation. If the file or program are manipulated, then it is always better to compare it with standard and trusted ones. In case of program, we can compare it line by line, and then we can identify the changes made by the attacker. But the biggest limitation of this technique is that we must have the standard file. It might be any file. If we have the source code file but not a standard one, then we can go through entire program line by line and we can perform semantic analysis of the program. We should know that each program line is doing. Basically, we can categorize every program line or instruction in following categories. First, instructions which interact with user. Second, computing instructions. Third, writing instructions. Fourth, reading instructions. Fifth, communication instructions. There are no issues with interacting and computing instructions because initially they are not actually harming any system. In case of writing instructions, the program can write or modify data anywhere on the disk, which includes some important files like file systems. So, in case of writing instructions, first guess about the location of writing and the content. In case of reading instructions, find out the source of reading because some programs can steal our data, for example, SAM file or browser history, etc. And also, post-reading operations should be found out. Means after getting the data from the systems where the data is used, we need to find whether it is being transmitted or it is stored somewhere on the system. Also, in case of replication, is there any another instruction from either same or another program which is using it? These all things matter. In case of communication instructions, we must know which is the other party is and what exactly they are sharing. Is the software taking any action after receiving the data message from another party? Or is it assessing any critical or important file before communication? Basically, the point of view is sometimes some malicious command will be received by the software and then executed. In this case, we don't have any stored command to execute, but another party can send some malicious code. Now, we will end this module with the summary. Computer only follows instructions. Instructions may be lower level language. For humans, it is very difficult to work in lower level languages. There are many higher level programming languages. Higher level languages are close to English, so they are easy to understand and work. Compiler accepts a program from one language and converts it into machine level language. We can manipulate a program by manipulating original code or target code. Disassemblers are used to convert machine code into assembly language code. By using disassembler, we can verify, program, or we can manipulate it too. It is always better to get the program or the software from authenticate source. Hash value and MD5 value should always be used to ensure integrity. It is always better to go through the source code and have insight about the working of that program. Thank you.